afternoon. We're going to give the delay a minute. I've already got the Polisato smoking and burning while we're waiting. Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. I pray everybody's having a positive, productive start to your day today. If not, I pray that your angels, ancestors, spirit guides, and with that. I also pray that He clothes us in His armor from head to toe, that He strengthens our discernment and guides our steps as we go throughout this day. Let's see where I can set that to where, there we go. I've got the air on, so it's blowing the smoke in a different direction. I waited until later in the day to come on and do a video so that I could use the new decks. Two of them came today, Celestial Insights and the Morning Mantras. So we're going to get a morning mantra, even though it's not technically morning anymore. It was 1:11 when I looked at the timer. It's 12:36 current time in my area. So it's lunchtime, but we're still going to get a morning mantra. This is from the same creators of the Affirmators self-help deck. Rise, shine, and help yourself without the self-helpiness. This is the picture on the front of the deck, or on the front of the box. And then we'll get into all of our regular decks, and we will include the Celestial deck. The front of the box says the Celestial Insights, Balance and Awakening. So that should be interesting. I want to send loving, healing energy to anyone that's dealing with displacement, homelessness, hunger, depression, anxiety, health issues, loss of a loved one. Please just know that you're not alone. Let's see what. Make like a plant and grow toward the light. Flower and repeat. So it's a picture of flower underneath a grow light. Make like a plant and grow toward the light. We talk about that often. The closer you get to the light, the further away you are from the darkness. Little mushrooms on the border of the picture. Looks like that might be the same for all of them. No, but there's a lot of them that have it. It is spring is right around the corner. I don't think it's technically spring yet, but it's right around the corner nonetheless. So, everybody's getting their flowers started and, seeds going. I enjoy this time of year. The sun is shining in my area today, but we got a lot of heavy winds. There's supposed to be some really nasty weather coming through later. There's a lot of places that got hit with nasty weather yesterday and are getting hit today as well. I want to promote again Max Velocity here on YouTube. That's the weather guy that I watch. He covers the whole United States, and I believe he's going to be live. He was live yesterday. He's live today, and I think he's going to be live the next couple of days because of all the different weather. All right, so we're going to get a grief affirmation, and then we'll get a chakra wisdom affirmation card for the day. I know it's a little bit later than usual, but like I said, I wanted to wait until the new decks got here. Plus, I had an appointment this morning, so it was best just for me to wait. All right. The dog, there we go. The dogs are moving around, so if you hear them in the background, please excuse the distractions. The reality is that you will grieve forever. You will not get over the loss of a loved one. You will learn to live with it. You will heal and you will rebuild yourself around the loss you have suffered. We got this just the other day, I think. You will be whole again, but you will never be the same, nor should you be. Or would you want to be? Elizabeth Kimbler Ross is who said that. sometimes it doesn't even necessarily have to be a family member for it to be considered a loved one. We have people in our lives that we value and that we cherish. And when we lose them, even if, that loss isn't necessarily to death, when they are no longer a part of our lives, especially if we want them to be, that loss is very difficult. It's very hard to adjust to. A lot of us deal with loss and grief in a lot of different ways. A lot of us have the tendency to go back towards the darkness that grief can keep us trapped in. So it's important to find what works for you as far as getting yourself out of that grief mentality. Yes, it's normal to grieve, but it's not normal to get stuck there. It's not healthy to get stuck there. All right, now we're going to get a chakra wisdom affirmation. We'll get our incense lit, and then we'll get into the oracle decks. Hello, Grand Rising. Good afternoon. It is afternoon in my area. I had a productive morning nonetheless, but trying to give my ankle a break for the rest of the day. I do not enjoy wearing the brace. I don't use the crutches at all, even though I probably should. I just can't do it. They slow me down too much. All right, divine intervention and self-sufficiency. We got 2 today, purple and red. You got the 7th chakra, the crown chakra, which that's the top of your head. And then you have the base chakra, which that came up a lot the other day. That's at the base of the spine. That's your 1st chakra. Self-sufficiency. By finding material security without being materialistic, you will gain satisfaction, stability, and inner strength. I am resourceful. I put in the effort to be responsible for supplying fundamental needs in my life, such as shelter, food, water, and clothing. I take responsibility for where I now find myself in life as I move forward. We talked about that the other day, self-accountability. Get in touch. I get in touch with and trust my innate wisdom, which tells me that I will be provided with all I need. And right with that was divine intervention. Sometimes life throws us curveballs and we can't provide what we need. And then that's when the divine has an opportunity to jump in and show us how much we truly can depend on them. I honor a higher power and know that anything is possible. I've got something in my eyelash. I let a higher power have a more active presence in my life, and I know that my life is divinely guided. I surrender to this truth. I know that I am loved, guided, and protected by a higher source. No matter what you consider that higher source to be, your heavenly father, your angels, your ancestors, your spirit guides, the archangels, the spirit realm in general. I am open to seeking guidance in my spiritual quest from a spiritual teacher, master, or guru. And I talked about that yesterday. It's important to surround yourself with people who inspire you, who encourage you, who share their knowledge with you, who, they want to see you grow and be better, no matter what way that is. It's different for all of us, but it's important to have those kind of people around you. No, you're not going to agree with everybody on everything. You're going to have different opinions. You're going to have different knowledge. You're going to have different perspectives. But, in the end, part of growing is learning that that's okay. We can still be friends even though we don't agree on everything. You're never going to meet somebody that shares all your same views and your outlooks, but being able to see things from somebody else's perspective and still have them be part of your life without allowing it to affect your life is a very important part of the growth and healing process. A lot of us never learned how to do that when we were younger. We really have had to, reteach ourselves a lot of skills like that. All right, we got solitude. Once you embrace the inner divine and your own sacred solitude, the right people arrive at the right time, exactly on schedule without forcing or chasing. That really is once again another part of the healing journey is learning how to love your own company. Learning to be able to enjoy being by yourself, and for some of us that may be something that we thought we were okay with, and then when we're put in that situation, we may not necessarily be okay with that. It can be uncomfortable, especially if it's something that you're not used to. We're going to light an incense for the crown chakra. I didn't do that. Crown chakra is frankincense. Shout out to Elegant Expressions Aromatherapy. That's the line of incense that I use. You can get them at Dollar Tree, but you can also order them online. Plus, there are other brands that also have chakra based lines of incense, so it doesn't necessarily have to be that brand, but I love frankincense. I actually use authentic frankincense resin. I burn that semi often. It has a lot of medicinal qualities, and it also helps with cleansing and purifying the air. Okay, now we'll pull from the Namaste Stress Less deck. I have noticed some weird energy in the air today. Um, I don't know. It could possibly be from the storms coming through. It could be the fact that it's the beginning of the month. I did notice the moon last night it reminded me of the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland. When he disappears and all that's left is his smile. That's what I thought of when I saw the moon last night. So, Disney's been coming up a lot here lately. I've been mentioning it a lot. Um, Alice in Wonderland is if you're able to read between the lines and see the different hidden innuendos, Alice in Wonderland is a very um, informative, thought provoking movie. Especially in the sense of going down the rabbit hole. There's a lot of rabbit holes out there you can go down, and you have to be careful about those rabbit holes. You can get lost in there. I'm just saying, don't go so deep that you can't find your way back. All right, we have practice gratitude. Gratitude is have the attitude of gratitude. That's very important. Spend time throughout the day thinking or writing down the things you are thankful for, such as the morning sun, warm oats and fruit, the flowers smiling back at you on the morning walk, a job to support your lifestyle, or whatever it may be. Noticing these little things and practicing gratitude is the first step in programming your mind to focus on the positive while releasing the negative. Eventually, there will be fewer and fewer of these negative thoughts and less stress. Instead of, I don't think I can handle another day of this traffic, you might instead think, this commute provides me the time to listen to my favorite podcast. This bright new outlook can bring positive changes throughout many aspects of your life. We talked about that the other day. When you can switch your mindset to where you're more prone to see the positive instead of being prone to see the negative, just that change in your mental process, being able to see things through a different lens, from a different perspective, it can turn things all kinds of around. It can have an impact on your life that you may not necessarily expect in a positive way. All right, let me move some of these out of the way so we'll have some more room. Make like a plant and grow toward the light. Flower and repeat. There are many cycles of death and rebirth as we go throughout this simulation, let's call it. And with each death and rebirth comes more trials, more lessons, more, trials and tribulations that we may not realize how much they are benefiting us. Being able to be grateful despite the bad things that may be going on, that is a true test of the healing journey. All right, we're going to get one from the Affirmators deck. Magically unlock the power of the universe. Kind of, it says on the bottom of the box. All right. Just a little side note, my stomach just started hurting in my sacral chakra area. It wasn't hurting before I came on here, so. All right, looks like we got 3. Forgiveness, power, and positive thinking. In the positive thinking card, she has flowers growing out of her crown chakra, which is the chakra we got for the day, and she's watering them with a watering can. She's got a little shovel in her other hand. In the garden of my mind, I water the good thoughts and weed out the bad ones. I threw in forgiveness and empathy seeds by the handful if I want. Wait a minute. Let me read this over. In the garden of my mind, I water the good thoughts and weed out the bad ones. I throw in forgiveness and empathy seeds by the handful if I want. And I take a lawnmower to that jealousy and resentment patch. I'm a pretty badass mind gardener. So, weeding out the negative, focusing on the positive, being the ability to notice the positive more than the negative. And we also got forgiveness, which forgiveness is mentioned in this card. Forgiveness. Congratulations. You've been given one of the most powerful superpowers there is. Forgiveness. Imagine that you've been bitten by a radioactive forgiver. The point is, you suddenly have the ability to forgive people for their flaws, their bad days, their unkind moments, and their mistakes. And the best thing about forgiveness is that you can apply it to yourself too. Have fun wielding your new power. But remember, with great forgiveness comes great inner peace. I've said it for a long time. Self-forgiveness is the hardest part. For those of us who struggle with codependency, we struggle with people pleasing, we struggle with loving ourselves as much as we love others. Forgiving others is the easy part. Forgiving ourselves is the hard part. And then we have power. It is a military tank that also looks like a dinosaur. I am strong. I am grounded. I am powerful. I am like a cross between a dinosaur and a tank, but not a tank that is used for war. I am like a peaceful, loving dino tank who feels so strong it doesn't need to do anything but be. So that goes back to the authenticity card that we got yesterday, being comfortable in your own skin. Understanding that you can have a soft, gentle side and also have a strong, tough side. It's all about balance. Balancing our own thoughts, our own desires, our own perspective with the world around us. I'm going to leave those. Oh, and look, we had the beauty card with a peacock on the bottom of that deck. I am beautiful even when I don't think it. I'm beautiful even when I don't see it. I'm beautiful no matter how many people don't say it. I'm beautiful. And I don't even care if you know it. I'm beautiful, which is why I don't have to try so hard all the time to show it. Self-encouragement, the positive affirmations, the positive self-talk, not basing our value on external circumstances. All right. Now we'll get an Angel of Abundance card and an Animal Spirit card, and then we'll pull from the Celestial Insights deck. The attitude of gratitude is the mantra for the day. And grow like be, what did it say? I don't want to get it wrong. Make like a plant and grow toward the light. Flower and repeat. That is technically our mantra for the day, with a backup of the attitude of gratitude. Being grateful for the sunshine when it's here, being grateful for all the beautiful flowers and plants and trees that Mother Nature provides us with. Knowing that all of our needs can and will be met. Especially if we're grateful when they are. But once again, we have not because we ask not. Sometimes we need to ask spirit. Sometimes we need to be honest with ourselves as to why we are in need of whatever it is that we're needing. Sometimes it's about humbling yourself and, flushing the pride down the toilet and, asking people for help, letting people know that you're not okay, that you do need help. We all go through times in our lives. And believe you me, I know how hard that is, to be standing on your own 2 feet and, not a care in the world. And then all of a sudden life happens. And the next thing you know, you can't do anything on your own. You have to ask for help. A lot of times when we get to those low points, that's when we learn some of the most valuable lessons in life that not only help us overcome the things that we've already been through, but help us in things yet to come. Block out distractions. We just got that the other day. Your life purpose and other priorities need your undivided attention. So it's time for you to take charge of your schedule and working environment by turning off electronics and avoiding anyone or anything that distracts you from what's important. You already know what these distractions are, and you have the power to responsibly block them out. Sometimes that's easier said than done. Hello, good afternoon. You know, yes, it can be people, it can be places, it can be different environments, but it can also be our thought patterns, our the way we look at a situation can be distracting us from the point. If we're focused on the negative, which fear and negativity and jealousy and unforgiveness and all those things can be just as much distractions as physical things in front of you, literally blocking you. That goes back to the gratitude and being and offering forgiveness not only to others but to yourself. Sometimes, most of the time, it is our wounds, our fears, our insecurities, our flaws, simply just our lack of knowledge that holds us back. But it's up to us to not only identify those distractions and those blocks, but to try to fix them. Release resentments about money. That goes. Stop. Get down. Hush. Oh, go. Get in there. Go. in, whether we wanted to or not. I'll see you later. Hush, Copper. Okay, sorry, that was unexpected. Apparently, some of my packages um, got delivered to the wrong address. Uh, okay, where were we? Distractions. That's where we were at. We were on distraction, weren't we? See, it happens in some of the smallest ways that you don't even think about it. You know, just saying. All right. Release resentments about money. Yes, the money system of the world can seem upsetting, but holding resentments about finances just pushes your abundance away. Instead, see money as a tool you can use to better the world. And this shift will help you attract, support, and golden opportunities. So, changing your focus, focusing on the positive instead of on the negative. You may not have the money that you need or the money that you want, but focus on the possibilities of ways and places that those resources can come from. Detox your friendships. Your abundance flow is affected by the people with whom you're spending time. So be discerning about your associations and relationships. Choose to be with people who are inspiring, generous, and supportive. Didn't we already talk about that just a few minutes ago? It's so important. Sometimes we don't want, we want to be the people pleaser. We want to be the nice guy. We don't want to judge people. Da, da, da. Okay, but when it's all said and done, you have to look out for you. And if you are encountering people that don't have goals or have different goals or their life is headed in a different direction, if that's not a direction you want your life to head in, you don't need to be around those people. How is it that they say it? Surround yourself with people that are already where you want to go. Something like that. Don't take advice from somebody that isn't where you want to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I see why. There was another one that was flipped over. Clearing debts. Your self-care involves removing the heavy burden of financial and emotional debts from your life. You already feel lighter and freer just by facing this topic and making a plan to clear present obligations and avoid future ones as well. Boy, isn't that important? Whether it's financial debt or emotional debt. Sometimes we feel indebted to people, we feel obligated to people, and it may be those toxic friends, and they don't even necessarily have to be toxic as far as in, you their whole being. It may just be one thing that is toxic about them that's leaking into your life, like being around somebody. Here's an example: being around somebody that's promiscuous. If you're like me and you're practicing celibacy and, just trying to focus on things that are more important in life than having sex all the time, and you're around somebody that's promiscuous and, doesn't think there's anything wrong with that behavior, they are going to encourage you to be promiscuous. Same thing with using drugs. Say you're a recovering addict, but you're still hanging around people that are using. All that's going to do is tempt you to fall backwards, you know? So it's important to eliminate those types of people, those types of temptations from your life, and, seeking out better positive things in your life. And most of the time, especially when you make a big life change like that, whether, say you're changing careers, or, you're going from being a drug user to not a drug user, you're going from being an alcoholic to not drinking. The crowd that you hang around with is going to have to change. And normally they're okay, like you have the disconnect, where you're dropping people like flies. Then there's a big chunk of time where you just end up by yourself. That's where a lot of the healing comes in. When you allow that self reflection, when you allow yourself to feel all those uncomfortable feelings that you ran from or that you just were unaware of. Like, a lot of times we don't even realize that, we're clinging to certain things, habits, people, places, thought patterns. We don't even realize it until it slaps us in the face. We can't, us as humans, we can be very oblivious to our own repairs that need to be made. It's easy for us to see them in other people. And a lot of times, those people that aren't necessarily good for you, they do end up serving some good because they mirror that energy back to you. Because, the whole energy effect, we attract what we put out. So it puts a mirror in front of your face and allows you to see the things within ourselves that we need to fix, right? Instead of trying to fix everybody else, if you just fix yourself, you won't attract those kind of people anymore. You will attract the people that you need in your life, not the people that you want in your life. Does that make sense? I hope it does. All right, now we're going to get some cards from the Animal Spirit deck, and then we'll pull from the Celestial Insights. Frog. Oh, that's my card. Frog. I actually have a frog tattoo. And then we have Nightingale on the bottom of the deck. I believe we've seen that already once before. And look at that, Unicorn on the top of the deck. We got Unicorn yesterday. So a spirit, a water, and an air. Isn't that amazing that we got Unicorn again today? We'll start with Unicorn. Unicorn represents the 6th chakra, which is the third eye, where the unicorn's horn would be. I actually have a scar in that spot from when I had chickenpox. All right, reconnecting to higher wisdom or divinity. That goes back with our divine intervention chakra card. It's difficult to see, hear, or think of a unicorn without immediately questioning if it's real. Did they ever exist? Perhaps long, long ago. The mind answers maybe, or it could be, or no way. This very contemplation explains our relationship with divinity and encapsulates our wavering belief in the unicorn. And I said this yesterday, and I'll say it again today. They talk about unicorns in the Bible. We wonder what divinity is. We wonder where our intuition comes from and if we can really trust it. We think about a higher power, and our mind hesitates between yes, no, and maybe. Is it male or female? Does it have a name? Is it just a feeling? The unicorn card appears and wakes us up to curiosity about the higher self and the divine. It is a card of questioning, exploring, and contemplating the inexplicable. The mind's eye knows there is something beyond our day-to-day lives, a deeper dimension to our experiences. The mind's eye reaches and reaches and reaches out to grasp something more. You are the unicorn, and you have begun your quest for the answers. It's no surprise the subtle essence of the unicorn resides at the third eye, the exact place from which the unicorn's horn extends. This center is called the command center. The ancient yogis believed it to be responsible for our intellect, intuition, and deepest wisdom. Some say our two eyes see the past and present, while this third eye peers into the future. All right, and then we have the nightingale. Fearless voice, speech, communication, or song. The song of the nightingale is otherworldly. The simple brown bird, almost unnoticeable among the flashy plumage of other birds, transports its listener to the realm of poetry. Nightingale energy is with us when we write, compose, and especially when we sing. It reminds us that music heals the deepest wounds. This card indicates a need to open the bridge between the heart and the voice. Is there something you need to say? How long has it been since you sang? Turn it up, write it down, and let it out. When in balance, speaks freely with kindness. When out of balance, shy with a lump in the throat. To bring into balance, listen to music. And then we got frog, which I think frog is actually considered water energy. Yes. We haven't gotten frog yet, so this will be a new read. I do know that frogs represent like healing, clearing, cleansing, and healing. There you go. All right. The frog and the water element are almost inseparable. The frog spends its first months of life entirely within this healing element and then emerges to rest on land. But no matter how earthly the frog becomes, its need for cleansing and rejuvenation is regular. Frogs tend to become overworked and undernourished, so it's vital that such sensitive creatures practice self care. This card serves as a reminder that water helps us cleanse, forgive, and release. Time to dive in. Frogs aren't meant to carry a heavy load. When in balance, clear energy and enthusiasm for life. When out of balance, depleted and running on empty. To bring into balance, lake, river, ocean, or bathhouse. You know, I just talked about it the other day when it was raining. Water has a lot of healing properties to it. It's very cleansing. It's very revitalizing in so many different ways. I'm definitely a water baby. I am in need of some water therapy for sure. Um, I can always tell when I need it just by how I feel. And thankfully, you know, the weather is changing. We're coming out of winter into springs. So hopefully we will be able to get out and enjoy some natural wild water. All right, now we're going to pull from the Celestial Insights deck. Welcome to Celestial Insights, a powerful card deck designed to guide you through the ever evolving journey of life, offering clarity, inspiration, and insight. Each card in this 56 card deck is carefully crafted to tap into the vast potential of the universe and the deep wisdom within you. Whether you are seeking answers, clarity, or spiritual growth, this deck opens doors to self discovery and transformation. Each card carries unique energies, from awakening dormant potentials and forging sacred unions to exploring infinite possibilities and embracing life's sacred moments. So there we go. There's the Celestial Insights. This will be the first time we're using this deck. Honestly, I haven't even looked at it since I got it. I just got it today with the Morning Mantras deck. I really like the artwork that's on these cards. We got infinite possibilities, the infinity symbol on the bottom of the deck as we're starting, and then past life on the cut as we're starting. All right. We'll probably get a couple of these. Openness moments. Openness moments. So, and Wow. Look at this. The card is very similar to the card that's on our morning mantra card. Very similar. Openness moment. This is a time of openness and new possibilities. Are you ready to embrace them? Stay open to new experiences and you might find unexpected opportunities. Wow. And then we got the trust. Looks like two people fist bumping. Trust is essential for moving forward. Are you doubting the path ahead? Have faith in the universe's plan and in yourself. Take the next step with confidence. We'll get a couple more. What is this? Allure, cherish. Cherish the beauty that attracts you. Have you been too busy to appreciate the good things around you? Take time to enjoy and value the moments and people that bring you joy. That goes back to what we talked about with the Stress Less Namaste card. Valuing the little things. You know, it's the little things that we miss so much when they're not there anymore. If you ever notice, I mean, yeah, in the beginning, it may be the bigger things, but when it all boils down to it, it's the little things that we really miss the most. Look at that. True love. Yeah. When you've had that love, then you lose that love, then you realize how valuable it is. You don't know what you've got until it's gone. You can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. All right. True love is a deep soul connection. Are you searching for it? Trust that it's out there, but remember to love yourself first. True love will flow naturally. So, seeing the beauty and the authenticity in true love, even though it may not be romantic love, love can be shown in all different ways. We got allure, cherish again. Wow, do we have duplicates in this deck? It literally says the exact same thing. It just has a different picture. What are the odds? Cherish the beauty that attracts you. Have you been too busy to appreciate the good things around you? Take time to enjoy and value the moments and people that bring you joy. Look at that. The same title, the same message, different pictures. Spirit on the bottom of the deck, followed by test. Reconciliation and awakening potential on the top of the deck. That makes me wonder if any of the other cards have duplicates. Oh, wow, there's a twin flame card in here. I didn't know that. Telepathy. There's two. Oh, is that? No, that's the same one. So what are the odds that there's only one card that has a duplicate and we got both of them? And it's allure, cherish. Cherish the beauty that attracts you. Wow. Okay. I could go on that forever. So being grateful for what you have, the big, the small, and the blessings yet to come. I say it all the time. Well, there you go. If you needed any more confirmation on that, you got it. All right, we'll pull from the Archangel of Fire Oracle. And then we'll get our Mary Magdalene and we'll be done. The other 3 decks should be here. They're supposed to be here at some point today, but I guess seeing as the mail has already ran today, it'll probably be tomorrow. But there's 3 more decks coming. And then I may take a break from buying new decks for a while. That'll get us where, we've got a pretty good variety in here. All right, it was 47:30 on the timer when I looked. Sometimes there's things like something like showing gratitude. We get so distracted by the outside world that we don't even realize that we're not being grateful. We get so busy with the hustle and bustle that, like, when somebody calls us out for our lack of gratitude, we're like, what? What are you talking about? But, sometimes, Maribel, sometimes being called out can hurt, but that doesn't make it any less true. Okay? I mean, we're all adults. Sometimes we need to be called out on our bullshit, right? I mean, sometimes we just need that. It's not necessarily easy, and yeah, it may hurt a little bit, but in the end, if you take it as constructive criticism and use it to grow and heal, it all works out. Maribel, card 30. She's dressed in silver. She has an owl. Her reflection is in the moon. She's standing in water. More water element. She is the only angel of the silver ray. Chakra is the soul star, 6 to 8 inches above the head. So we got crown chakra this morning. This is going even above that. The crystal associations: silver, hematite, meteorite, magnetite, healing qualities, connection to higher self, realization of divine purpose, transcending karma, access to the Akashic records, manifestation, and awakening. Essential oil is star jasmine, star constellation, the swan, and the Southern Cross. It's no coincidence that Maribel's name sounds like mirror ball. Like a glitter ball reflecting endless sparkles of light, the silver blue lunar-esque Maribel helps to illuminate the divine feminine aspect of grace within us. In doing so, she helps balance, cleanse, and purify our spirit. As we gaze into her mirror, we look deeply into our own soul self and slip beneath the mercurial. It almost looks like murky, but with curl on the end of it. Mercurial waters of the unknown. We are then able to move with more flexibility, relishing the freedom activated by this angel. Like the Celtic pagan elder and priestess on her card, Maribel's feminine energy brings our lives into flow, helping us to wash away and release any feelings of rigidity, control, and limitation. So we can relinquish the need to grip onto life too tightly. It is from this place of surrender and fluidity that we can tap into our intuition and creativity. Then we can dance through life to our own personal rhythm. As Maribel's glitter ball throws sparkles of delight across any shadows, lighting up all the dark corners, Maribel's light brings us clarity and discernment. We can trust we are in alignment with divine timing. All is perfect. You can also call on Angel Maribel to balance the feminine and masculine energy of our planet. Like the wise elder in her card, she is connected to the lunar energies. So is wonderful to call on for manifesting and releasing during the new and full moon phases. Her message, life is a mirror. Didn't I talk about mirroring energy earlier? I did. Life is a mirror. What are your outer circumstances reflecting back to you? What can you learn from these experiences? What did I already talk about? Thank you, Spirit. I talked about that this morning. Love it. All right. You can become an ambassador for Maribel's presence when you understand that all aspects of your outer life are a mirror of what is happening within. It takes courage to look into your psyche. Be honest with yourself about any intentions, emotions, or behaviors you are presenting to the world that are not in alignment with your deepest truth. Boy, mirror work is challenging but powerful. When you choose to embody the light of Maribel, you may become keenly aware of your own internal landscape, but you will know that you stand safe in the light of truth. Allow the mirror to become a magnifying glass, helping you to look inside without judgment. You will discover all the hidden parts of yourself, calling you to embrace, for, forgive, and integrate them back into your wholeness. What did I talk about? Self forgiveness. You know, when we reach the point in our lives where we can hold ourselves accountable. We can call ourselves out on our bullshit and we can be like, yeah, I totally did that. Like, I have nobody to blame but me for whatever reason. And don't get me wrong, I know there's all kinds of special circumstances, blah, blah, blah. I know. I've said all those things to myself. But when it's all said and done, no matter what outside influences are or were or are going to be involved, in the end, it comes down to us. How much are we going to allow our outside circumstances to affect what's going on inside of us? And a lot of times, those circumstances end up forcing us to be able to do that mirror work, to be able to do that soul work, to be able to look at yourself and be like, yeah, I effed up big time. You know, yeah, I acted on emotion instead of knowledge. Yeah, I reacted instead of just observing. You know, there's all kinds of different ways that we can call ourselves out, and we don't, I mean, of course it's not fun. You know, nobody likes to be called out on their bullshit, even if we're calling ourselves out. It's not fun. That's why people don't do it. They just try to walk through life pretending like, you know, all their woes are somebody else's fault. And don't get me wrong, I do know that other people have the ability to F up our lives. But are we going to sit and waller in that mud and just like never move on? Or are we going to learn from it, grow from it, heal from it, and move on from it? I'm preaching to my own choir here, okay? Like, we all need that reminder sometimes. You know, we all need to be triggered sometimes to remind us that the work's not done. There's always work to be done, especially if you're the type of person that ran from it for a long time. I am guilty as charged. You know? All right. Mary, Mary, full of grace, what advice can you give us today? We're jumping into the Mary Magdalene. We'll get a message from her, and then we'll get out of here. The new decks added a little bit of time to the videos, so we're getting back to about our hour-long videos here. We'll probably be a little bit over an hour, so thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. If this is the first time you're coming across one of my videos, please know that I have over 600 videos here on YouTube, different prayers, devotions. You're riding along with me on my learning journey. Let's learn together. Let's heal together. Let's encourage others. Knowledge is power. The more you know, the more powerful you are, not only for your own self, but for the people around you. All right. Just one, please. We just want one. I got excited. I started getting hot. I had to uncover my ears. The Alpha and the Omega. Every ending is a new beginning. Shut up. The first will be the last, and the last will be the first. What did I say earlier about death and rebirth? About how we go through several different cycles of death and rebirth in this simulation. All right. And in case you're not aware, the Alpha and the Omega are the first and the last letters of is it the Hebrew or the Greek alphabet? Whatever alphabet that is, Alpha and Omega is the first letter and the last letter of that alphabet. Let's see what. Oh, I don't have that card numbered. Okay. The Alpha and the Omega. Every ending is a new beginning. When one door closes, another one opens. Christ's parable of the vineyard workers describes a man who arrives at a vineyard late in the day, and yet he's given the same amount of pay for his brief labor as those who had been hard at work since dawn. Christ explains that in the world to come, or in the world that already exists invisibly within this one, those who are last shall be first, and the first last, quoting Matthew chapter 20, verse 16. It doesn't seem fair, though, or just, and that's precisely what the parable is meant to do. It's meant to get us all caught up in our ego so that we can release it. If we really focus on what's fair according to the ego, we get tied up in feeling as if we're being cheated or betrayed. This comes from the ego's fear that there's only so much treasure to go around. Didn't we just talk about that yesterday, about there being enough to go around? We talked to, let me finish. We think this laborer who only just showed up as the work was almost over will take from what we would have received. According to the ego, what others get, we miss out on. There isn't a concept of plenty, only lack and scarcity. The ego cannot conceive of an unconditional love that isn't concerned with what's fair when it comes to who can receive it. The treasure is for everyone who shows up, whether we've only just started the work now or we've been laboring in the name of love for our entire lives. Love is here for all of us equally. Love operates on a system that's limitless, and this feels entirely unfair to the ego. And when we realize this, that the last shall be first and the first last, the ego is released. And what had felt like a painful betrayal and an unjust situation expands into something new. We can revel in the unreasonable abundance of love. The Alpha is the first letter, it's Greek, of the Greek alphabet, and the Omega is the last. You can tell we haven't gotten this card before because I didn't know it talked about that here. So this is the practice to keep releasing the ego, which means having massive amounts of mercy on ourselves and others. We keep reaching the omega point so we can rise again, which means starting over, going back to the beginning. Humble, human, more merciful, more in love. The soul voice meditation. What egoic story can I release right now so that I can start again? We got the forgiveness card this morning. Forgiving ourselves, forgiving others, even forgiving the universe. Let me take this brace off. Even, forgiveness is something that comes just like love, it comes in all shapes and sizes, you know, but that doesn't change the fact that it's necessary, right? And like I said before, for me personally, and for a lot of other people that, have been in the same life loop pattern that I've been in, forgiving others is the easy part. But I guess, and for me, the part that makes the self forgiveness so hard is because in a lot of situations during those unhealthy, unsafe, maybe even toxic situations in our lives, we rejected ourselves. We neglected ourselves. We taught us that we can't trust ourselves. And a lot of times it's because we don't listen to ourselves. We listen to the outside world. We listen to those people that we think love us it may only be a conditional love. It may not be an unconditional love. That love may be conditional on what we do for them or how we love them, or one of those situations where as long as you're saying yes, they love you, but as soon as you put up a boundary and you say no, they become your worst enemy. So the longer we're in situations like that, the less we love ourselves, the less we trust ourselves, and the less confidence that we have that we're capable of making good decisions for ourselves. So until we learn how to give that same forgiveness to ourselves that we so willingly and openly and lovingly give to others, until we learn to do that for ourselves, we end up just repeating the same cycle over and over again. Sure, it may be in a different place, it may be with different people, but it's the same story. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can move to a different country, but if you're a toxic codependent people pleaser, you're still going to be a toxic codependent people pleaser whether you're in Australia or America. You know what I'm saying? That old saying, poof. That old saying that, you get back what you put out. We attract what we are. And until we heal those wounds inside of us, I hear people say all the time, oh, I'm not broken. Yeah, we are, because this world purposely breaks us, whether it's family, friends, coworkers, the universe, however it plays out in your life. We have to become broken so that through the cracks we can see the things that we need to heal, which usually ends up, looking like, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. You've fallen as low as you can fall. So the only option is to pull yourself back up. That's typically in some way, shape, or form what it ends up looking like. But when you get to that point in your life where you have nowhere to run, nowhere to run to, baby. Nowhere to hide. When you have nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, nobody to turn to to where the only person that you have to depend on, is yourself. You learn a lot about yourself really quick. You find out the light shines on the areas that were once dark. Those cracks of brokenness allow that light to shine in to say, oh, that's why I've always been that way. And just like I talked about yesterday, once you can see it, once you can trust yourself enough, believe in yourself enough, love yourself enough to be honest with yourself, and you can see it for what it is and not what you've disguised it to be for however long, that's like a major accomplishment. That is a major step of growth. That is a major step of knowledge and understanding that a lot of people never make it there. That's why a lot of us end up addicts, because we struggle to see our brokenness. We just want to fix everything. We just want to make everything better. But if you don't know what to fix, if you don't know what the sickness is, then you can't heal it. Does that make sense? If you don't know what virus you have, you don't know what medicine you need to fix it. I'm, figuratively speaking, there's all kinds of spiritual medicine out there. You just have to find what works for you. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to take multiple different kinds of therapy or medicine or treatment or whatever, however you want to describe it. It's not going to be just one thing. It's going to be a lot of different techniques and information, and actually applying that information, becoming comfortable with your own company is a huge step in the right direction. So if you're I don't know why I'm being drawn to say this, but I was there once. I didn't know what it felt like to be alone. I had never been alone. And so when I was finally alone, I wasn't pretty. I didn't like it. It was uncomfortable. I was, I would get very agitated very easily, even with the dogs around, which it was different dogs back then, but it's not the same as people being around. And so a lot of times the things that we think, oh, well, that's just my personality, I just don't like being around people. Well, I learned that there's a reason why, now that I've gone through that process, that I don't like being around other people. I'm very picky about who I interact with and who I spend my time with, because I know how easily I can be affected by other people, even just their energy. Have you ever noticed that? I mean, it's usually guys, but there's women that do it too. They're just very touchy. It's like, I'm a hugger. Don't get me wrong. I like doing hugs, but I've had to stop being like that because people take that the wrong way. So now I'm more of a fist bump kind of person. But nonetheless, there are people out there that are just very touchy. It's like they'll just find any way, like for no absolute reason, no reason at all, just scares the crap out of me. People are touchy. And it's not always for a bad reason, but if you're the type of person that is very much affected, and if you're watching this channel, you are, by somebody else's energy, you don't really want to let other people touch you. Just a simple tap on the shoulder can throw your energy all out of whack. And learning, that's another important thing about being alone. When you spend enough time alone, you learn what your own energy feels like, what your own body feels like without the outside influences. Going out in nature is really good for that. Meditation is very good for that. Swimming in wild water is very good for that. So, anyways, I could keep going on and on and on. I feel like there was a linked message in all that today. As usual, there usually is. So, I hope it encourages, inspires, motivates you to, if nothing else, just love yourself a little bit better today. As always, be grateful for what you have, the big, the small, and the blessings yet to come. If you see a need out there today, tomorrow, next week, if there's any possible way that you can fill that need, please do so. You may not only better their day, but you could possibly change their life, and you never know the impact it could have on yours. Be blessed, find peace, and I'll see you next time.